Welcome back, everybody. Daily trading review with your boy. It is June 26th, 2025, and it was a busy day. I was thinking to myself, I'm going to take it a little bit easier. I think we hit it harder than we normally do. Oh, my Lord. So, just a way to keep myself up to date, reviewing our trades, what went wrong, what went right, and how can we improve into the coming days. Cat tail here. Daily theme is your mother. No, we actually did kind of figure it out today. I was so confused I couldn't figure it out, so I just assumed, right? But it's 100 million plus market cap after hour runners. This was really cemented to us last night and even the night before. We could go back and figure it out. Maybe I will in tomorrow's Friday wrap-up video. But tonight we do have that exact same thing again. Yesterday we had it as well. So that's what I'm going to put my thumb on as far as a post-war oil theme for the week. And, maybe we'll see if that holds up and it continues next week. So our pre-market watch list, ADIL. This secures a U.S.-based manufacturing agreement, which is good with another company and, for a drug supply, which, seems like it could be bullish news. And that was this morning. But what's crazy is we have that after-hour movement, and this was even on our watch list last night in our last video. If you check it out, because of this movement, right? So we're looking at it. It gaps up in the morning, test retrend, and then boom, big whammies here. So we did have a bit of a trade. Not a nice one though. This is pretty dirty, so I want to slap myself on the wrist for that one. But it does work out because we scale appropriately. But it's just you never want to be have it drop. What if you missed it by a second or two? So that's pretty disgusting. VOR was another continuation from last night. Now this ripped right at the end of the video. They did the offering, and then it just started chucking up off this market structure shift here. We had some break of structures, and just right to the moon we went into close. Opened up with some strength, but ultimately broke down, retried, but couldn't do it. And just when something runs this hard, right? And it wasn't offering, but it was a private placement, so that's a little bit different. Those shares are going directly to an institutional investor rather than just the open market. So it's a little bit of confidence for the stock, a little bit, and we've seen that here. So just to recap there, and then MKWD. Well, no, that's wrong. MKDW up next in the morning, and you can see where this ended up. So that's not good at all. But in the morning, we're just adding to our watch list. Pennies could be a sub theme. We see a lot of pennies popping, some China popping, and typically those are pumpers. So these are going to pump, they're going to dump, but you can still get some good moves on them if you want. No news here. So that's, if it's got no news, then it's probably definitely a pump, right? High cost to borrow, and it's a De-Spac. So, things that could run for sure. And it does, it gets some movement here, but because it has no catalyst to support the move, it isn't supported and dies off. So that's that. Then we have BEM. This was pretty cool in the morning as well. Just nice news pop here. They signed joint venture agreement creating a Middle Eastern company or LLC, but dies down. It's not really substantial news. They're not really profitable in anything there. It's just the announcement of a company basically. So that's what it is. PSTV was continuation for a few days now. Great. And this morning it did continue up a little bit, right? But ultimately died down and is really getting crushed here this evening. Let's see if it can hold this 28 mark. If not, looking pretty grim here. This between 29 or 30 and 28 or even down to 26. You really want to hold, but even that's pretty far down from 32, right? So keep an eye on this. Maybe that's it, right? And that's why we're going to scale out along the way. And we'll go through the trade recap, but this is mostly just a watch list. This had an update in their businesses on the conference call last night, which is why we got this this movement here, right? So that bullish update through their investor call. We'll see how this pans out tomorrow, though, right? RITR. This was wow, dang, dude. This was pretty brutal, and I actually got burnt by this in the morning. One of our red trades that if I would have maybe held a little bit deeper, we could have got out. But when you see the sell-off after, it's like I don't even mind having this just go bad on us over here, right? Like to be part of this would be brutal. So I don't like that at all. And this had, some news. They're going to spin off a logistics automation company or unit, but I guess that indicates the having of value within a company when you're taking part of it away, which might be what this is about. CYN was just, you want to see something embarrassing? When we do the trade review, I was an absolute clown. I should be dressed up with my makeup and wig, big red nose on. Oh my God. What an absolute powerhouse today. And it even had, which is the craziest part, preloading last night, which is insane. When the news hit, it hit hard, all the way from $5 up to what, $40, $41? Ooh wee, that's a runner. So this had NVIDIA news. Their next gen robotics, collaborating with NVIDIA, which is kind of crazy, and it had like a really small market cap, right? Low daily average, and that equals high relative when it comes in. So that's nice. ASTI is up next, and they had news with NASA for some solar panels. Pop up, died. Kind of was holding trend here. We tried to get in on that, get some scales, but ultimately does break down, reclaims in the afternoon, and is just kind of holding. So this could be like a continuation play tomorrow for sure, because it's got the catalyst. It has something of substance to hold it up here. So that was our morning watch list and our pre-market trades, or our pre-market watch list. Let's go through our trades. RITR is up first. That was on the bottom, I guess. And this morning they had the news. We took it at this break of structure, right? When this high broke a little prematurely on this green candle, because I was like, well, okay, these candles are gone. But it broke down literally as I opened the trade. So this was really bad. This is how I started my morning, my very first trade, and just immediately turned red, get stopped out, right? And that's the name of the game, right? That's why we set our risk. It's predefined, and we already kind of discussed this, how it popped up nicely. We could have got out kind of green, but it did die. So, I don't mind just getting out here instead. That's okay. And moving on, CYN on the bottom. This is brutal. This is all you need to see here. This is brutal. And I did this live on my Twitch stream as well in the morning. I do get a bit of time to trade with everyone before the call starts that I typically join. So we were in this at $7, and we are scaling out early because we see the news. We see that it's got NVIDIA, and we slap it immediately. We like that news, right? So in at $7, our first scale out is at 780. 11%. Sure, that's awesome. Or 10%. Then our next scale here, we have, find it. It doesn't want to highlight it for me. But we do have our next one at 855, and then our third at 912, and then fourth at 10, and our fifth at 1057. And at this point, I'm like, wow, I've won it. We've totally recovered from that first trade that was red, and the day couldn't get any better. And the stock continues to run. And I don't have any shares left after this. So I feel like a clown. And he continues to run. And he continues to run. And at this point, when the clown goes upside down, oh my Lord, that's nothing but pain. Because our last sell was at like 10 or 1050 or something, right? And it went up still 40, another 400% after that. But you can't normalize these moves. They're not always going to happen. So it's, it hurts. This is a lot of missed wealth in the piggy bank, right? But nonetheless, this was a good trade, good risk management, scaling out, taking those profits, and I just never expected this. Absolutely insane, but it did break down hard, and is right back where, we were getting off the train last. A little bit above it actually, which is crazy that after this sell-off, it's still above where we were selling. But I like to be in on it early, because it doesn't always carry through, right? And you don't want to ever be just buying the top before it dies. That's kind of a bummer. So get in on it early. Early bird gets the worm, right? PSTV. This was a continuation from last night when we were in this. We did scale out right at the end of the video, or even just as I finished filming, I guess, at that 2-to-1. And then in the morning, we got that 3-to-1. Took it here, or waited to get here. Didn't get the 4-to-1, unfortunately, and it did break down. But and that's why we do scale. That's why we take these scales as they go, because it's so rare for it to run past a 5-to-1 risk reward. Very, very rare. So to normalize that and try to aim for that all the time is, you're just gonna get your runners burnt, and it's nice to just take those profits in. So it's one of those things. It kind of sucks to leave it money on the table like we did earlier, but at the same time, it sucks more to lose money, right? Like, it's a worse feeling to only get your 80% and then have your last 20% get stopped out at even, than to scale it all the way to 5, right? Like, that feeling hurts more than to have it go, to the upside down clown, if you will, right? And it's about consistency, right? And if you can consistently do this, that's going to be better, because you're not always going to consistently do the large runs that we've seen on CYN. ADIL on the top. This is really nice. Well, it looked really nice. We do have that reversal, right? Key level breakout through VWAP. Then we get a trend retest here. That's where we're entering, right? A little late to it, but we do get that scale on the 1-to-1, and it breaks down. So again, this is why we scale out. We do this consistently, because a lot of these trades do break down, right? It's just, that's what day trading is. There's a lot of retracement, consolidation, and look at this in the afternoon. This was so choppy. Like, we had a reversal here, rejection off VWAP, breaks down, try to reverse, but couldn't even break the 200. Then we get it here. Now, this one's substantial, because we can pair it with the 200, right? And then it holds the 200 here, here. Kind of a false breakdown here. And then when it breaks VWAP, that's quite nice as well. But the volume was just like so low here, right? That it's kind of scary. And specifically when you see these hard rejections off of the morning, right? But it gets traction, and it rips into close. But then it gives it all back again, right? So, that's why I don't like penny stocks a lot. They're brutal to play. To manage your risk is so aggressive. You have to size in with so many shares. If you're paying a fee on these shares, it's not even worth doing, right? Moving on, ASTI on the top. And if you see, like, if you kind of read, you'll see where I took my entry, why I took it, where the stop loss was. And then that text is here in visual form, right, that we go through every day. This was the, what news did this have? Oh, this was the solar panel news with NASA. And we get in on this off that trend hole here. It breaks down, right? That's kind of like what we want. News pop, breakdown, trend hold. Quick scale out, which is nice. And if you did hold, which you should, because you want the bar to close, open and close below, you could have got that secondary scale out, which I think we did live on stream, taking it early. If you didn't take it, that's fine, right? But typically when something rips on open like this, it will dump down. So an early scale out, which it's not good. I don't like to do it. I think we might have did it one other time today as well. I really like to just stick to the plan of the risk rewards. Because it gets really messy when you start playing in between them. Even though sometimes we do. Sometimes I scale out early. Sometimes I stop out early, just based on the chart and literally how I feel about it. But it's not something I like to do, and this should, for all intents and purposes, just be, this 1-to-1 here, right? Like if you didn't get the scale out here, this really should just be another scale, right? And that's a second chance, if you will. That's the realistic viewpoint that we should be taking. In my accounts, I'm a little bit more aggressive with protecting myself. That's why we take the early scale, right? Just narrating the whole thing as we go, but that's pretty risky biscuits out there today. That was the last of our pre-market trades, which is great, and this kind of even ended in the morning. Then our daily watch list, KWE, had like a defense contract or something. Was really good, popped in the morning, super died, but at market open, it got a little volume, right? Held trend, reclaimed VWAP, which is aggressive, and then we're taking it here at the break of structure, right, with our stop below these candles, right, the wicks here, and we do get that 1-to-1, even a little bit more, 1.1-to-1, which is really nice. It breaks down, that's fine, but does hold the 200, right? That holding the 200 with the reversal here, and then the trend rehold with a key level breakout of VWAP, like these two candles would have been so good to enter on. When it holds VWAP, this green candle is the go juice. That's where you want to be entering on in this trade. We didn't. I was getting some other stuff done, and really nice expansion there as well. So nice trade here, nice setup. And ASTI, we just talked about that one. This is on the bottom though. We're doing that this afternoon. We have a break of structure here again. We're in a little bit early here. ASTI bottom reversal. Oh, that bottom chart. Reversal plus a breaker block. Oh, right here. At this point in time, because the stock was still above this was a negative order block at the time that turned into a bullish breaker block because we broke through. We take entries on the retest of that breaker block, right? Which is these two candles here when it re-entered and then came back out. So this is when it comes back out, our entry. We try to aim for a 1-to-1. We don't get it. Our stop was below here. But to review this trade, oh, actually, no, we did get it, which is nice. Not the 2-to-1 though. However, I was thinking about this before. We did kind of get out green here, and I did scale out early on this one as well. If we read, here we are. Early scale after hours since the trade almost stopped us out, right? So I'm taking early profits here because we went so red on the trade earlier, and it did pay to the 1-to-1, which is great. That's fantastic. But we're getting out early here as well, just because it was such a negative looking trade for us throughout the day. And I really thought we were going to get stopped out here. And on that note, I was like, well, how could we do this better? And this just comes down to setting your stop. So instead of setting our stop at this low, what if we did on this wick instead? So not using the reversal, not using this wick, using this wick here, and then our 1-to-1 would have been profitable. Lots of opportunity to get out on that 1-to-1. Same entry, we just have a tighter stop, which means our take profit is tighter as well. So that could have been another way to take this trade. Both of them would have worked and got us our 1-to-1. So it's okay. Just, I don't know. Give me your opinion on that. Then we have our after hours watch list, NAOV. This is announcing some intelligent robotic platform in development for bedside feeding tube and vascular line navigation. So some medical stuff. News pop tests VWAP here and holds, right? And that's kind of crazy. Goes up. We kind of chase this a little bit. Bad entry, and because it's a bad entry, we don't get our scale out because it's not 1-to-1. I like to respect the plan. If I can, our stop here is under these two low candles off the hold. we're still in it. Let's see how this pays out tomorrow. Hopefully we hold that 200. The stop loss is now below the 200, so that should hold out for us, I think. And maybe in the morning we could gap up, right? My cat's on my keyboard. Then we have INMB. Now, this is the mid-cap biotech stock, which I think is the theme. Had some news announcing top-line results for a phase 2 trial in early Alzheimer's. And Alzheimer's is a massive market cap, right? We don't have a cure for Alzheimer's. So when someone's got positive data for that, it's usually really good for their company. We have a break of structure here. You could enter in on that if you wanted for a scalp up, and it did massive expansion on that breakout play. I missed it, but we were watching it, and by oh golly, it's holding. We'll see how this handles tomorrow's price action. And then we have MMA, which I laughed at so hard, but it's good to review some of the bad plays as well because it did gap up. They're like, hey, we're a martial arts company that's going to pay you digital currency to like hang out and fight with us. I don't know. Announces blockchain and artificial intelligence crypto rewards platform through strategic Web3 alliance with Morphtech to revolutionize martial arts engagement and monetization. LOL. Get out of here. That's such crazy news. Are you kidding me? This other company's like, yeah, we're curing Alzheimer's. And you're like, we'll give you kick coins. Stop it. But it did something. But I think kind of people realized, they're like, wait a minute. But it's still holding, which is crazy. So the market's irrational sometimes. Sometimes things just go, and we like volume is king. We just follow that. So it is what it is. AEMD was an earnings play. We'll talk about that. I guess it wasn't good. It just got juiced up and immediately blasted to, Kingdom Come, lower than it was before. So that is brutal. And then OST, which is I got to look at this on the top. I was charting this for another person. OST, this is a Chinese dead cat. Like, it just got obliterated, right? So checking this out. A lot of gaps here to play with, and you do get a dead cat bounce. So that's something you could participate in. I'm not, but I did want to just chart it out. And we'll watch it tomorrow, right? If we break above 90 cents, then we can maybe look to challenge 110. And if we can get through that, then I would not look for 8, but you could look for 180. You could look for 3, and you could even take the consequent encroachment of the gap, or that 50% mark, which is 4.5, right? So some different levels for you to play off there. I doubt we get a full gap fill. Dead cat bounces typically don't end well, but doing something here after hours, so we better review it. And our long-term portfolio is doing pretty well. We cleared $10,000 profit in 26 days, right? That's pretty good. 10% in 26 days is awesome. And we started to scale out, right? Start to pull some profits out. I think we've pulled out about $4,000. No, sorry, just $1,500 profits. But I guess some of that that you're pulling out is just initial fund or stock that you're selling back, right? Because you did have to pay for it to begin with, right? So it's not all profit, just a little bit. Yeah, just starting to scale out slowly. The SPY, nearing all-time highs today. Oh, man, it's still going. Which is crazy because, like, my thing here says all-time highs at, like, 613. 613.23, which I don't know about because when I look at the one day, I don't see it. I see us here at 612, and I don't see anything above that. And, okay, so it's a wick on the intraday. Go to the 4-hour chart. You should see it. I don't. So I don't know where this is getting 613 from. I'm pretty sure our last high was here at 609, but I mean, we're here now. We're going to hit 613 eventually. So the market's crazy bullish. Like, how we absorbed basically World War III news was crazy. Like, it didn't even break down. Like, we should have had a trend retest to the 200. Not even breaking the 21. And every day these supports move up. Maybe we get, because we were targeting this bullish ad zone. Now let's target this one. And I also want to bring your attention to the last time we did this. Oh man, I probably got rid of them. The last time the market really started to go, we had these crazy gaps on the 1 day. Like a bunch of them too. Yeah, here they are. You see these gaps here on the 1 day? At the beginning of a run, after a reversal, right? We have this retracement, and then we have these gaps. Boom, boom, reversal signal. And look at what happened. Like, the market was so strong here, it was gapping up, and then just a massive extended run post daily gaps. So I just think it's kind of crazy that we're getting these gaps here as well. There's another one here. You can see how bullish it is after that. It break down a little bit, but again, right back to where it goes. Again, another massive bullish gap here. Retest and goes. Ooh, it held. It held. And then again, we're back into these gaps, right? And this is back to where we are now, right? Because we had a, broke down, and then we've got the reversal, and then we've got these gaps forming, just like we did back here. Same thing. Back to the 200, reclaim it, reversal, start forming daily gaps. Back to the 200, reclaim it, reversal, start forming daily gaps. So, I mean, I hate to be that guy. Where were those? Down here. Because this is wrong. This is never good, but from that reversal with the daily gaps to the next high, 44%. You have to mind my gibberish here. So again, we've got the reversal here. That 44% is aggressive. Looking at 800. Get out, HGG. I don't even want to talk to you anymore, dude. You're out to lunch. But, it's just bullish, and I'm not the only one looking at that. And it's long term, right? Like, that's going to sure take a year or two. But market looks strong. Market's all-time high today. It's got, a lot of confluence here on, the throttle side of things. So, I don't know. I'm going to scale out. Things look really good. I'm going to start slowly bleeding down that portfolio. Wait for a dip. Maybe a dip does come and we get to retest these ad zones and we can load back up again. So, that's what we're doing with the long-term portfolio. GameStop is got low IV. Low IV. We're still red on our trade. That's fine. I've got nothing but confidence here. We're grinding up. Maybe look at this on the 15-minute chart. It just doesn't trade day to day, so look at it that way. This is wherever you want. Nice looking trend line. Working our way back up, and there's a lot of room to the upside here. Specifically, if we can break above this $24 mark, very much enjoy that. And we probably need to readjust things. Our go long, you fool, goes down a bit. Keep that as our daily 200. And that, it's go long, you fool, for a reason. Go long, you fool. Underneath this line, absolutely. So these are still really good ads to me. And we'll start scaling out above 25, but probably closer to 28. I've got nothing here. The options chain is not even existent. Max pain super low. IV super low. There's no hype, which is all one thing, basically. Different perspectives. We'll see. We'll see. Got to get that daily average down, right? Daily average is a little high at that 21 million still. So, we just kind of want to lower that average, and we're going to do that with these 1 million volume days. So then when we do get an influx of volume, we can really push the stock price up again. Right? So just chilling on GameStop. There's nothing here. October 20 to 25 calls. I'm really loading up on those. And I even bought some January 2027 65s just for fun. Cheaper than shares. And, again, we're going to start unloading those near that $28 mark. Because if we go to the 1 day, that's a gap on the 1 day, right? And we want to just kind of fill that and, maybe reach into that secondary up to 29 or 30. And if we do break that above that, then we're going places, which, I expect at some point, but probably needing a catalyst to get up here. Whether that be another Bitcoin purchase, something, I don't know. Not for me to decide. But I'll take it when it hits. And earnings in September. So maybe we can, get up to this pre-earnings target, which I would appreciate. But if not, that's fine. I'm here for the long run. What I do want is 30. Just never lose money on your options, right? Make sure, and that's why we scale out, because you don't want to be, I'm going to hold all my options for when we hit $40. It's like, well, okay, good luck, but I certainly hope nothing bad happens along that way. And yeah, just look at this trend. Like, that is looking nice. Couple days of a beautiful trend line. Maybe we'll even move a bit, and I think we're breaking above that today. So tomorrow is Friday. Let's aim for 24 tomorrow. What is max pain? Chart Exchange says we are looking at 2350. So I don't know. Maybe tomorrow we end at 2350. That's probably pretty likely, and we're basically there now. On that note, it's Friday tomorrow. You expect a market sell-off, as we always do. People are gonna be taking profits into the weekend. Maybe we get down to 609 tomorrow, but then I'm sure next week it just rips again, or it's just like goes crazy. I don't know. I have no idea. We're gonna have to wait and see what the flow is like tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. I'm live on Twitch every day. Hello, good game. Doing morning trades, doing afternoon trades. Literally writing this whole thing up live in front of everyone. Drop by, say hello. Maybe if there's high demand, I could stream on YouTube. I was thinking that probably the best way for me to probably make a living of this is, well, A, to continue trading, but B, probably just dedicate myself to GameStop and just do all day GameStop streams. I could do that. I could definitely do that. But, honestly, it's just for me to hold myself accountable to the review so we can, fine-tune our skill set further. Have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with me. Appreciate you, and we'll see you soon in the next.